You raising your hands about whatever you want to raise your hands on. Okay, right, Lauren, go ahead and take yourself. I just asked to unmute. Tell me if that worked for you.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the lesson today. Super helpful. I've only ever gotten one human design reading, and I thought what was really interesting was she told me that we have like a similar to a rising sign, but like a personality type in human design.
Mhm.
So I'm a projector, which is like similar to being like, oh, I'm a Gemini sun. And she told me that my personality type is reflector. So should I take on some of these reflector things too? Then you're talking about them too, or should I just try to hone in on just the projector things?
So, first of all, I love your space. Is that your painting in the background?
Yeah, it's like my mom's painting studio, which I now share.
I love. And do you know what your environment is in human design?
Markets.
Markets, cool. So I was going to say where your the space that you're in right now is like very on brand for the valleys. But if somebody here with valley determination, like she's in a good valley right now. Now, when it comes to the personality types, human design is a big topic, and there's a lot of people that have devoted their entire career to human design. That's all I do. This is the only workshop of mine where I talk about human design, and there is so much about human design that I don't know. This is one of those things. I have no idea. To me, I saw it's like when people tell me about sidereal astrology when they're like, but actually in this thing, I'm this. I say, oh, fuck, like here we go. I don't know. My brain is like, I can't handle that. That would definitely be a question to ask that same lady. Most human design people are really, if you ask a projector, can you inform me about what this thing means? They'll be like, yes. If you ask they'll be like, hold please. If you ask a generator, we just can't, we're a manifesting generator. We just can't fucking stop responding to things. This is your invitation. Go ahead and, go ahead and ask I think that you can go ahead and ask that lady too, because this is the invitation that life is giving you to go get more information. It doesn't have to be directly coming from her. But I don't know. And I'm really happy for this question because there is a very small slice of human design that I will be proficient in for you. And this is going to be human design as it relates to eating. It's something I'm really passionate about, and human design when it comes to parenting, because it can be really useful to understand that your kid is not here to eat at the table, or that maybe they're always going to be a fucking lunatic. I was almost going to be late for this call because my son wanted me to shoot his new YouTube show, which is called Reiner's Super Crazy Times, which is just him putting magnetile fucking toys all over the room and then just running through it like a whirlwind, crashing things, yelling, seeing like how crazy he can go. And I'm, very on brand for the manifesting generator, the frustration and the anger and the chaos, and I love it. Um, and then the third one, which is what we're working on here, is human design as it relates to business. And I think that one of so many people I know are like, I got one human design reading. Because a lot of times, like, you don't, unless you're specific, unless you're just obsessed with the topic and you want to teach it in some way, or you just like have to know more about it, one will do you. You can unpack one human design reading for a really long time. And it's just this huge data download where it's like so much stuff coming in. You're like, what do I do with it? Next week in Fuckless, we'll be talking about pieces of content using everything that you've learned so far, what a piece of content would look like if we were doing it really on brand for you. But what I really try and do differently with human design, especially in this workshop, is like we're just going to take it one bite at a time. We're just going to take it one bite at a time. We're going to absorb that and see how it feels. We're going to go for a week and try and get into our environment and just see, like, are the content ideas flowing when I'm up here? Are the content ideas flowing when I'm in my little cave, and just see and just test it for yourself. So I don't know about that, but that would be a super great question for your teacher. And I hope that this is just the beginning of a conversation about human design, because it's so interesting. And I feel like it's such a helpful tool, but I think that the biggest detriment to it is just oversaturating, taking in too much and not really being able to digest it. And it just leads to indigestion where you end up just throwing the whole thing out and be like, these people are crazy. I would definitely understand that. So thank you for your question. Livia.
Hello. Thank
Ah,
you so much. Like so blown away. Like always, I said that every time I take a content of yours, it's like I'm sandblasted. It's like, whoa.
Oh, what's your human design type?
Manifester 6'2".
Wow, manifester, my favorite. I just love, you know why I love manifestors is because I don't know, I think it's just something about the dynamic of manifestors are here to boss people around, and as bossy as I come off, I just can't help but be like, yes, ma'am, when the manifestors say let's go. You know, I was like, woo, let's do it. And my coach is a manifester. One of my really good friends is also a manifester. My sister is a manifester, but all of my manifester friends always, I don't know if it's like in like astrology or something, but inevitably all my manifester friends always text me at the same time. And it's like, hold my calls for the rest of the evening. Like it's always when I'm putting my kids to bed too. And I just can't stop responding to the manifestors, everything they say. Like when they finally like put me on ice again for the next, 3 weeks until I hear from them again, I'm always like, that was that was great. My little one night stands with my manifestors that I just think about forever. So what's your question? What's your question so you can relate?
Question is, I'm feeling like it right now. So good. What if you have several elephants in the room? Like if you have the whole elephant herd, and do you narrow down to one elephant before you come out with your content, or you just like maybe try out several each elephant each day, a different reel for a different like question and answered or something like that?
I absolutely love this question. If you have a lot of elephants in the room, then you're gonna get it. That's a lot of paychecks. Every one of these elephants has saddlebags of gold on its back, just waiting for you. Now, this is what I love about human design, because if a manifesting generator was telling me this, I would say, what we're going to want to do is do a little bit of a process of elimination. What's paying first? What's paying fastest? Let's focus on this one. Now, manifestors always have a lot of things going on at once. Manifestors are always architects as well, where it's like, I'm seeing books, I'm seeing movies, very big picture. And the nice thing about all of these different freelance sites and stuff now is that it's really easy to hire people to do some of the smaller grunt work on things. Even AI can be really useful putting some stuff together, automations and all of that. The manifestors that I know are often the happiest when they are allowed to just kind of drift from project to project. Now, there can't, because manifestors are the initiators, it's you initiate, but you bring in a team or automation to help you finish the project, because it can be very hard for a manifestor to finish the project. But here's the thing. When you're early in business and if you're early in business, I say keep those expenses low, take that pressure off of yourself, keep the expenses as low as you can. For most people that are starting out in all human design types, you're doing most of it yourself. And that can be challenging, but if you know it's going to be challenging, then, that's fine. But as a manifester, you might see like a very different picture where you're not just seeing, oh, I could do one workshop on this. You're like, I could do 6 things like this. I could see 6 things that I would want to release in the next year. And also how all of those things could work together, how people could get all of that. For a manifestor, sometimes you're working on a lot of different projects at once, but then you're able to reveal like a whole new business or a whole new product suite all at once. And if you're feeling like this is the way that you're going, then doing this with autoerotic wealth and saying, okay, let's build the whole empire, but let's also perfect our launching strategy so that we know how we'll move all of this content. Those two are really complementary in that way. And the manifestors I know that are doing really well are just very at peace with their timing of things. They don't set a date for anything until they're really sure that they can make it on that date. And I see my coach like struggling with this sometimes, where he's like, okay, I'm just going to set a date so that I get the fucking thing done. And then it's like way past the deadline that it gets done. So it's really just about your your timing, because you're not consistently plugged in to energy. There's no way that you can do it if you don't have the energy. But when you have the energy, it's superhuman. And so all of your business plan and everything like that, the affiliate marketing, all of these different pieces, super on brand for the manifester. If you can take financial pressure off of yourself to let yourself build it as big as you want to, because you're going to be, think about it like building, like you're going to build yourself a mansion. Now, maybe you have to live in a yurt while you're building it, but you don't fucking want anyone to see that. You're not going to be like, guys, I need this yurt, because you're focused on the big thing. So it can be, if you can take the pressure off of yourself to have it done on a certain timeline, there's no behind, because what you're unveiling is going to be a lot greater than just kind of cranking it out. So all of those elephants are good things waiting to happen. It'll be like a domino effect, one thing to another. But just however long it takes is how long it takes. And I love that question. So I'm looking forward to working with you more. Fofora is the only other Brazil. Fofora, I think, means gossip, right? Fofora.
Fofoca.
Fofoca. Okay. I speak like secondhand Portuguese, 2 or 3 words from my mom. But I think that all of her expressions are from like the 70s. One of these days, I hope to pick up some Portuguese, but I guess today wasn't the day.
You are gostosa.
Hey, I'm gonna take it as a compliment. I eat everything. All right, thank you. Okay, Joan, you're up next.
Hey,
Hey.
wow, it's so cool to be here.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm a 1-3 generator, and I really loved the last question because lots of elephants. I just don't know where to start. I'm starting from scratch. I've got huge ideas that are like they're gonna take me 10 years, I think. I love making video, but I have visual impairments, and so I've been working the last few months on this one business, but it's like I've not worked for 15 years, so it's like when I start doing something, I just lose track of focus or take like 5 days to write the one email and then realize maybe I shouldn't be emailing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people have this problem when they're doing content strategies that aren't aligned to them. And limitations create style. So if you have a limitation of like visual impairment and you're like, I just can't do it, then there's other places that you can. But if it's taking 5 days to write an email, then it's not your strategy. Like no matter what anybody else says, like that's not what's not going to work for you. But something like audiobooks and podcasts.
And I love making video and podcasts. Yeah.
So all of these, like the more limitations, the easier it is to find the creative style. Now, you haven't worked in 15 years or you've been a mom for 15 years?
No, I've just been trying to get things done, but like not having actually a job that pays. I get a government grant, and so I've just been able to choose what I do in a day and kind of spinning dry. And yeah, now having to focus for the first time.
And I get it. And a generator definitely can, a generator definitely can focus. And I have a very clear answer for you. But having government grants is such a nice way to be able to start a business, because it takes a while to make a business profitable. So I'm just going to show you how to find this. It's on the app under business resources, but let me just show you on here as well, because it's very easy. For anybody that's just getting started, I feel like this is such a good place to start. Just go to YouTube and look up Mommy Onami 0 to 40K. And you're going to get this video, how to build a spiritual business online step by step. We talk about active, passive, and neutral income here, which was something that I was going to go over in today's call. But if you're just getting started, this is like, it's a map of like, this is what it looks like from the very beginning. And it's very satisfying because it's just step by step. And so I'm definitely going to recommend that for you. And then if you were looking at it at the app, just go to workshops, go down to business resources, and there's all kinds of cool stuff there. Now you are a 1-3. Now, elephants in the room, what's paying first, what's paying fastest? You're going to be excited. You know, it's just about finishing the first one. So whichever one you're most excited about, grab it, stick with it after watching that 0 to 40K strategy. But as a 3-line, you are here to make public mistakes over and over and over and over again. These are where your paychecks come. You guys all saw this in the Fuckless book. Your paycheck, page 93, I believe. Let me show you guys. This was one of the edits that I just put in. Ta-da! Page 93. It tells you the paychecks attached to these different profile lines. So as a 1-3, your paycheck comes from your research and your mistakes. Research and mistakes, research and mistakes. So when you're building your next product, you go crazy on the research and you release the first draft knowing that the second draft or the third draft will be the one that's good. I did 9 drafts of Wheels Reinvented before it was, and from the very first one, I was like, this is the last time I'm teaching this. 9 rounds of this workshop before it was, but when it's ready, it was really ready and ready to go into book form as well. So that's the 3-line has this desire to be like, look, I just don't want to make an ass out of myself. You're going to make an ass out of yourself. And people
That's what took me 15 years.
Well, that's the thing. Because I got stuck for 2 years being like, I'm just going to go behind this curtain and make all my mistakes in secret and nobody's going to see me. It doesn't work like that. When you're trying not to make mistakes, you stop trying. So like an inventor has to keep trying things that don't work to find out what works, but no amount of saying, I wonder what this would do. I wonder what this would do.
Yeah.
If you have kids with 3 lines, and if you're a 6-line, the first 30 years of your life are spent as a 3-line. So if your kid is a 6-2 like my son, no amount of you telling them what not to do is going to stick. They have to learn from burning their hand. They have to learn from, getting electrocuted. They have to learn. It's all trial and error. And when you're trying to try without error, you just don't try anything. And so, but all of these things, this is the elephant in the room, for 15, I haven't worked in 15 years because I was so afraid of like fucking something up. So
Yeah.
now I'm going to try. But your research can really help you. And people are very much here for your research as well. This appeals to the intellectual customer that really wants to see the data of like how things work. So on brand for the generator is like, get yourself in space, don't worry about the quality of the video. Don't worry about, how many times you're posting or anything like that, but feel free to nerd out about your research, because where your research intersects with the mistakes you've made applying the research, that's your paycheck. So I hope to see you more. I hope to see you more. Are you in Europe?
Yeah, I'm in the Netherlands, but I'm actually not completely from here. I'm a huge mix, born in Africa and Chinese and Polynesian, and just kind of got stuck in the cold weather.
Super cool. But I was gonna say, gotta love those European government checks. Like here, they like give you,
Yeah.
they give you crumbs, but then what you get is when you make is 50% of your income goes to taxes in EU as well. So that's kind of the not pictured part that we hear about in the States.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. And if you want to start making money, you get a whole lot of stuff to deal with.
yeah, it's a thing. But you know what? It takes a while to start a business, so you won't have to worry about getting bumped off of your government paycheck for at least a year. So, you'll have plenty of time. And if you come on to Safe House, definitely do the ritual. As a 1-3 generator, you can definitely handle it. But a lot of times we say we'll take the government paycheck. I'm so afraid to lose the government paycheck that I don't want to make more money. And that's something that gets a lot of people. So thank you so much for your question. And I hope to see you again. Okay, I have time for a few more. Oh, well, there's only, I can answer all of these questions. I might have to move a little bit fast, but I can answer all these questions. We're going to go Embra, Astro, Daryl, and Audrey. And then Catherine, I might be able to get to you, but you just showed up at the last minute. I'll see what I can do, but I'll have to move real fast. Ember, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you got?
Hello. So I saw your TikTok video about manifesting generators, and that they need a step-by-step content strategy, marketing plan, and product development formula, which
Mhm.
intimidated me a little bit because I really leaned into the whole like posting when you're inspired, like that really resonated for me. So my question is, how do you reconcile those two things?
Totally perfect question. Great question. So what you want to do is just know where the big picture is going. What you want to do is have a very clear idea of where the finish line is. You can still post whenever you're inspired, whatever you're feeling like doing. The only thing is that a manifesting generator can get shiny object syndrome really easily, and a launch has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so if you quit too early, you're not going to be getting the results from all of this. So you just want, and some of the like, here's an example of like a clear step-by-step process for the, let's say people opt in to your lead magnet. They say, yes, I want this video. And then you send them marketing emails to make sure that, you know, they're still hearing more from you. If a manifesting generator was just going ad hoc, they wouldn't really know when they were starting or finishing. So they'd just be like, okay, I'm going to email until I don't feel like emailing anymore. How we simplify that is like, we're going to send 9 specific emails and they're going to go in this order. The first email is going to be about pain. The second email is going to be about problem. The third email is going to be about consequence. The fourth email is going to be my story. The next one's going to be the process. The next one's going to be the proof. The next one's the objections, then the vision, then the action. And that's a wrap. When we go through, and then it's just clicking things off the checklist. Now there's no timeline. It's just, you know, where you're going next. So you're like, okay, I waited until I was in the mood to write this email. And then I wrote this email. Good to go. I'm going to go live my life. And when I come back, I will write the next email in the sequence. However, I'm going to go to my environment. However, I'm inspired to bring this forward, maybe voice memoing it or whatever. These are all things that you can do. But this, using a step-by-step strategy to make sure that you're only required to do the work that's actually moving the needle forward. And then if you want to do more on top of that, you know, that's totally fine. But what we don't want to do is have you, because manifesting generators can still burn out. Generators can still burn out, especially when they're forced to continue doing things that they're not excited about. So if you don't really know what actions are creating the results in the business or what people need to hear in order to be sold, then you're like, okay, I'm emailing, but it's not turning into sales. So I guess I have to email more. And then it's just like, oh, burnout. So that's that junction of having a clear step-by-step strategy that you can follow. And then that's, you know, your creativity, your inspiration is the water. These are the rocks, and the water just goes around the rocks, just like that. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting your voice to sound like, but I love the way that your voice sounds. I was like, this is such a sweet voice. I love it. All right, Daryl. Daryl, you guys are gonna get to see so much of Daryl because Daryl trained me on Notion for several months. She's why like I have a Notion, and we have all of the recordings for it. My husband has it on his Notion this week to make that look pretty. So we will see what pretty means and if Magic is going to get this task again, because he's the second person assigned to this task. So but I need somebody that's
We'll
in
see.
my house so I can monitor everything that's going. I need someone that I can control to.
I love that. It's a little kinky. So overthinker, trying to solve by thinking. I know that I need neutral time to answer the question, what's my elephant, I think. And I think, you know, passive time right now is reading Fuckless, the audiobook. I love listening to your voice. Ever since you told me whenever there's audiobooks by the author when they're reading it, it just slaps, like so true. Love that. But yeah, resources that are like maybe less like, let me sit down and figure out what my elephant is, and maybe just even like a meditation of something that to help me kind of let that come to me.
I'm going to tell you what
Yeah.
your elephant is right now. You
Oh.
have two different Instagrams. Is it the one with you holding a camera that we're looking at, or the other, or
Yeah. I'm basically turning my personal Instagram. I think I might even just go ahead and burn it down to the ground because I just want to start fresh, and it's my professional photo account, but I'm trying to let go of the, oh, that's my artist space and like I can only post my fine art there. I'm just trying to break through that, which is why this workshop is awesome.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I guess my guess for my elephant in the room is like, how is she always reinventing herself, or like how is she like, but I don't know if that's it. I think that that's just a
Well, sometimes,
projection I
and this
have.
will be really useful for people in the homework chat because other people will see your elephant in the room right away. So
Yeah.
now, and I'll be in the Magic is doing this homework with you guys, so it'll be, but the elephant in the room on this particular account, the one with the camera in your hands, is, yeah, must be nice. Must be nice to be able to take pictures all day.
It is.
Must be nice. So how are you paying your bills? Must be
Yeah.
nice. That's the elephant in the room, is supporting yourself as an artist. And this is actually like
Yeah.
a huge piece because all of, here we've got all of the magic, but you have so much method. You have so
Yeah.
much fucking you have
I
method up
do.
the fucking wazoo. And so this is the elephant in the room. That's not that, and this is where I think, and it's always scary, it's always scary to call out the elephant in the room. And in a way, because we've talked about these two different Instagrams before, but you could always take your personal Instagram and use the personal Instagram as the expose of like, here's how I make this shit happen. A good example of this is this coach that I like recently. Her name is Whitney Euland. The white elephant, well, it is a white elephant. The elephant in the room with her is, maybe it's manifesting, maybe it's white privilege, like that. That's the elephant in the room. But she has, two websites, because she's an actress, but she's
Yeah.
also a fame coach. And so she is actually able to use her second social media as a commentary on what's going on here, on what's going on in the actress page. So it's like, here's the method of how I'm making this magic happen over here. And I think that that's really because she wants to have a forward facing artist profile that isn't, people don't want to hear in auditions about her like manifesting things. It's a different career, but she's able to use, that's her social proof right here, is here's the business that I've been doing and that I've been making happen for a really long time. And this is how I am funneling, this is how I'm supporting myself on it. This is how I actually paid my bills as an actress. This is the site, this is how I actually became famous, and it's so strange because her coaching career is now going so much bigger. She's getting everything that she asked for. The whole fame and recognition that she asked for as an actress is now coming to her in this really different way, which I think is super cool. But that's a way that, if you didn't feel like incorporating it into the artist profile, you could. I'm going to tell you something else, that one of my values is, or when my husband and I made the Declaration of Independence, to just give it to people straight, assume that people can handle the truth. When I look at your art, I still feel like you're in your vanilla. And I feel like there's so
Mhm.
much more. I feel like there's so much more that's coming forward. And it's not an art, it's not an art thing. I like all art, but there's something
Mm.
about, it's a flavor and it's a taste when somebody is in their vanilla and when somebody is at their cutting edge. And it's the difference between where do I feel comfortable and where do I most need to grow? Where do I need to grow so much that it actually scares me? And that's and everybody, this is, if we look at painters like Picasso,
Mhm.
could get comfortable in an era and then had to go into a totally new realm. And artists, a lot of times, they like can't even look at the work that they just most recently did, or even the work that is getting recognition right now, because they're like, oh, like I'm in a totally new place. And imagine authors, like when you're in a conventional publishing house, a lot of times the book doesn't come out until like 2 years after you wrote it. And you have to go be like, you're reading chapters of your book that are just making you like cringe. So, you know, that's just the nature of it. But with art, with acting, with fashion, with music, you'll go through really big phases of being being into something, and then there'll be like a big pivot. You go to a new vanilla, or it's sending things passive. So even just the thing about work is that it's never thrown away, it's never discarded. We just set it passive. We find a new way to be able to get all of the benefits to get all of the money that we were once generating when this was our active project. But once we've done it so many times that there's a formula, and when I look at this, there's a formula. You have a formula for getting all these shots. Now it's a method. Now it's something that can go passive in some way so that you can focus on the projects that now you're really, really interested in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I like, and that is the struggle, especially with these longer form projects and grant writing. You're like, okay, like and I am over the project on some level. And I'm making a book, and that's my way of making it go passive. But I think maybe the less vanilla is like some of the controversy that came up. Like, one of the people I took photos of was like accused of something in the community, and people got upset with me. And I was like, I'm not fucking taking his photo down because he's a part of your community. Go talk to him if you have a problem with him. And that's literally what my DMs were. But I didn't share that because I just like didn't share it.
Yeah, it wasn't your story.
But yeah. But anyways, I appreciate that feedback, and I'm glad that there's a way for me to potentially keep both. But I do feel this calling of just maybe, and this is my generator, throw shit at the wall. I do just feel like in the process of doing Fuckless, like just trying to get my main account, the underscore Daryl, where I do have my photography, like being able to bring up my method about how I'm making that happen. And maybe this is a little controversial, but like I went through the phase of, you know, do what you love, never work a day in your life. For me, what happened was like, do what you love, turn what you love into a job and destroy it. And so like I'm actually at another place now where I'm like, my art is over here and it's not for sale. Like if there's a happy accident of making profit from that, awesome. Like if Nick Knight came to me and was like, Daryl, do exactly what you do and here's a shit ton of money, I wouldn't say no to that. But like the way that I'm making money is like something that I'm willing to like sell and like pimp out. Like my art is just, I can't, it destroys me. Like it's more sacred. So sharing that I think could be helpful for people.
And I would look into that. Like I would use feelings room a lot for
Yeah.
this kind of how I feel about selling my art, because there could be a block there. There could not be a block there.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like cooking is something that I always loved. I made a job out of it, made me miserable. But this is where, you know, your environment can really be helpful. You know, what environment are you?
I'm dry kitchen.
Okay, cool. So this is dry kitchens, folding laundry, moving, you know, things in a lab. Love Whitney Euland. Dry kitchens, wet kitchens. The differences between the two aren't really like that huge. It's more about the physical location and less the psychological. But while you're cleaning or something, this is a good thing to think about. This is where things will become clear for you. The gym transformation is occurring at the gym. So
Yeah,
these
totally.
are all like good places to get clarity. But I just want to point out something that you said, which is a huge part of the method that is definitely not talked about: grant writing. Grant writing is, and it doesn't matter if there's other people talking about grant writing online. This is like one of my favorite success stories, but there is a Mexican woman moved to a huge YouTube channel, made a huge YouTube channel, but she moved to Canada, was in the process of getting her green card. It was fucking exhausting, the paperwork and everything like that. So she just started making videos in Spanish about how to do the paperwork for getting your green card, and turned it into a nice, simple little course that people could buy. It's like, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Here's what in Spanish, because it's ridiculous that somebody hasn't put this into a language that we can understand here. And you don't have to feel like you're dangling anymore, waiting to hear some of these things back. But grant writing, you know, a lot of people want to make the art. They never, this idea of grant writing is not something that ever crosses their radar. So there's you know, to be a paid artist and to be able to focus, it must be nice. Yeah, it is nice. here's the discipline that it requires on the back end. Here's the level of organization I've had to attain. Here's what my workout schedule looks like. Here's and I do like that Whitney Euland, you can't always control, because a lot of people are like, oh, good idea. I'm going to make a like secret account where I could be myself. This is sometimes going to work and sometimes not going to work, but you can't always control where the fame and the recognition is going to come from. And I know a lot of people that have really successful second accounts. I'm one of them. And I know a lot of people that have started like 800 second accounts that never got more than 60 followers, and they just couldn't handle shouting into the void anymore. So you're going to find out where it's a for you or a for you. But I would say that that's like the immediate elephant in the room is like,
Yeah.
so how are you doing it? So
Yes.
so
Yeah.
all right,
Okay.
Renee.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice
See
to see
ya.
you. All
Bye.
right, let's do I want to say SZA Audrey, but it's my friend Audrey. Go ahead and
Hi.
hey,
I would be on video, but I just had surgery and I have COVID, so
you got
not
the
gonna happen.
no problem. You're good.
Okay, thanks. So it's SC Audrey, but so my question is I'm a 2-4 projector, and I have a second social media account, exactly like what you just said,
Mhm.
where I was going to start my business on it separate from my personal Instagram. And it's because my family, they're like super evangelical Christians.
Mhm.
And I've been doing, for like 6 years, I've been doing lots and lots of witchy stuff. And I have like a specific course and all this stuff I teach. And I just, uh, personality disorders, all kinds of mental illness on their side, I kind of just don't want to deal with them. I feel like
Mhm.
it wouldn't work. Anyway, so my question with that is, how do I get started? Do you have any advice for a 2-4 projector of putting yourself out there on the internet? Um, and how do I find like the elephant in the room?
So if you could just direct message to me here on Zoom, and I'll talk to you while you're doing this, but just direct message to me here on Zoom what your social media is, and I'll look at it and tell you what the elephant is. And then while you're typing that here, thank you for sharing with me that you're a 2-4 projector,
For sure.
because some people might be like, look, like the 6-3
Right.
like bonds made and broken is like snip, snip, baby, cut them out of your life. The 4 line is all about networks, and the family is the original network for the 4 line. That family structure is super
Yes.
important to you. It's super meaningful to you. And it's, and for
Well, I've kind of cut them out of my life, but they're like attached in a weird financial way with my grandkids right now in private school.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand completely. Did you send me your
No, how do I find the direct message? I was looking for that.
that's fine. Go to chat, and
Oh,
then yeah, go to chat, and then I have someone else that wants me to do it too. When you go to type it in, it says there's a little like drop down arrow. You can send it to just
okay,
me.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So you're basically no contact with them, but there's like a financial link that's keeping things going there.
Yes,
And do you feel like that the finances would be cut off, or it would just be drama if your parents found out about the other you?
both.
Okay, cool. Totally understand. And that's totally fine. I know all about what it's like to have to maintain a persona for survival. This is my
Yeah.
question for you. How heavy is it to maintain 2 different versions of yourself?
It is horrible, but I live super duper far away from them. So I only have to see them like annually.
What would it look like for you to be yourself with your family?
Well, with my partner's family, they're the most difficult ones.
Mm,
Um, with my family, when you have like a parent with borderline and narcissistic personality disorder, you kind of just have to like gray rock them and move on. That's my family. With my partner's family, they're like very, you can't really have a relationship with them being yourself because they'll immediately proselytize to you, try to get in a theological debate with you, or tell you that you're like ruining your children's lives just by
mhm.
um not being a part of their religion. So it just ends up being like you don't really it's kind of just no purposeless, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesus is kind of like spinach. You know, if you're forced to eat Jesus as a kid, you'll hate it as an adult. So what do you think is the solution here? Where do you, because Rumi says that a mask worn when the face has grown becomes a wall that rubs and cuts. So not a wall that slices and dices, a wall that rubs and cuts, that makes it just, it's just annoying. Can't really like move your face without it bothering you. You know who I'm going to have you do? I'm just going to have you close your eyes for a second. This
Okay.
is usually where I like, when I had this discussion of, you know, how do I deal with my family? This is how I got to the bottom of it. But I want you to close your eyes and I want you to just see in your mind's eye walking into this room right now. It's a version of you that's 10 years in the future. And when you see her, does it seem like she's still being two people or has she figured it out?
She's completely figured it out.
Okay, so ask her what she did. And don't think, just speak.
She just quietly kind of did her own thing behind closed doors until she got strong enough. And then when she put it out there, it wasn't like in their face or direct. It was just her being herself and living her life. And if they wanted to come to her, they could. If not, whatever.
Perfect. So does it seem like you're on the right path to doing that right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, you know, there is no objective right, wrong. This is not about being authentic like me or authentic the way that I think you should do it. It's about being authentic like you, but also you are able to retain privacy controls on your social media. A lot of my family is blocked from my social media. And when I talked about my brother molesting me when I was a child, that was when I was like, I'm just not trying to go into he said, she said with my family right now. I've tried to report this before and it just turned really hostile. I'm giving myself the gift of like not dealing with that. Doesn't matter to me what anybody else says. And so you can always just hide your stories from people. And I don't think it's your business, so it's not like if you worked at a fucking strip club, you wouldn't want your family coming in and sitting there for your whole shift. Even if they were supportive, you're like, look, like, I'm doing my me things, like I don't want you sitting at the bar the whole time because it's distracting me from talking to people that are actually paying me. So like, would you mind? It's totally fine to make your workspace a safe space. Totally fine. So, and I love the future you meditations because when I did this one with my family, because my family was just getting really hostile towards me. And so I meditated with my future self and she just seemed to get such a kick out of my family. You just seemed to get she had figured it out, she was like, lol, this is fun. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I just accepted them for how they are. And now I get a real kick out of it. So I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'm headed that way. So good job. And I will definitely, I'll look at you know what? Send me let me look at your thing really fast because I just can't resist. And then Nilo, I saw your message come through. Put it in Q&A. Put it in Q&A and I'll definitely be able to do this. So the elephant in the room with you is that this is all the elephant in the room is who are you? Who are you? You got your face hidden. We've got it cloaked. Is this the branding? Like, are we saying we're hiding or are we actually physically hiding because we're afraid of our family? And is the cloak heavy? Is the cloak heavy or do we love it? Is it time to pull the hood back? What's your environment? What kind of safe space do we need to be able? It's like, are we cloaked? There's this danger of treating the best customers like the worst customers. So the worst customers in this situation would be the family that is not paying you, that is afraid to see you. And you're like, you know what? Since everybody out here is a dick, this is going to be my new brand. You can't see my face. You can't make eye contact with me. And the whole brand is going to be that we're cloaked, that's what's going on here. Now, I'm not saying change your name and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's just, what is the cloak made out of? Is the cloak made out of fear or is the cloak made out of confidence? And that's what we want to, that's the elephant in the room. All right. I'm gonna do, I'm Astro Roxy said that she was before Daryl, but she got cut off. We're gonna do Astro and then we'll do Catherine and Natalie. I'm a generator. I can't stop responding, but I'm gonna have to stop the Q&A at some point because I gotta post this as well. But anyone, we have Q&A, Fuckless Q&A. You guys have it free for the rest of February, but we are classes in session, and we are literally, me, my husband, everyone, we're going to be hanging out in the paid Fuckless room for the next 10 weeks. So we have so many people that came over from Ritual. It's going to be same like that. Go ahead, Astro.
Hi, thank you so much for taking me. I almost freaked out because I was like, I'm not gonna ask a question. I wasn't meant to do this. Oh my God, it's just crazy. Okay. I'm coming from
are you a generator, or what's your profiles and stuff?
Okay, so I'm a generator 3-5. I
Okay.
don't know what
it means that you're here to make public mistakes, and that everywhere you go, there's a crowd being like, lead us. And you're like, why are you looking at me? You have a very seductive energy that's bringing everyone to you. This is the 5 line. Influencing strangers. People are like, you seem to know what's going on here. You're like, I don't work here. Like,
Yeah.
you fucking looking at me. And then there's a 3 line, which is like, I don't have this figured out. I'm making mistakes nonstop. Why are you guys looking at me like I know what's going on? There's got to be some kind of like mishap going on here. The thing is that you do know what's going on with all of your trial and error process, which is literally for life. The only thing is that the immediate friends and family, the influence, that it's not that you're more authentic with strangers than you are with friends and family. It's that your influence is strongest with strangers. Do you know what your environment is?
kitchen.
Kitchen? Okay, perfect. So anywhere that a transformation is taking place. So a transformation could be food going from raw to cooked. It could be a house going from clean to dirty. It could be a gym. It could be in a Zoom room like this. But that's for the influence is your paycheck. Mistakes and influence. This is your special yin yang. That's where your paycheck come from. All of the mistakes I've made and my ability to get up in front of the crowd and be like, I've been through this, so I actually do know what's going on, and let's make some money, people. And you have that very like the 5 line for me, especially like a 5-1 projector. The 5 line for me is like heroin, like the opium den chic, the dark eyes, the dark hair, the Nick Cave, the goth life. Like this is to me like the ultimate. So I love a 5 line, and I think that 5 lines a lot of celebrities are 5 lines, that ability to influence strangers, and a lot of 5 lines get confused because it's like, what you see in me and what I see in me is like super different. That's okay. It's totally fine for them to take. And the 5 line, the more comfortable they get with just being themselves, it's like, keep writing that story, baby. Keep writing that story. I don't mind. Go for it. It's got nothing to do with me, but do it.
Right.
Okay, your
And
question.
I feel like, so elephant, I can't see it. I see it all, but then I also can't see it.
If you wouldn't mind sending me via direct message what your social media is so that I can look at it, I can tell you what the elephant is. And then, tell me what industry you're in and what's going on with you if you want.
How do I send it in a private message to you?
So go to chat, and then it'll say like, when you go into type above.
Oh, mommy. Okay.
You can change who it's going to. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Let me just look at this really fast. And then go ahead and talk to me while you're doing that.
I'm an astrologer. I'm a karmic astrologer, but I was an astrologer before it was cool. You want to say, which it cost me my family. It cost me a bunch of pain. It cost me a lonely pregnancy, giving birth by myself. This was 15 years ago before it was cool. And so I'm a karmic astrologer, which is about ironing your shit out from now to your past life, and all the other strings and patterns that you come attached with and to, and set that momentum forward all the way to the future and what you're trying to manifest.
So the elephant in the room on this is, and it's strange because it didn't, let me just ask you something. Just look at the date on this. Your branding really changed between July of last year. It was you were very beauty forward in your branding, your face, your all of that. When I look at your latest from the last year, I say the elephant in the room is, who are you? I don't know who this person, there is no, I don't see you. I don't see you at all. Did something happen in the last year that changed or last 6 months that changed your relationship with your beauty?
So I hired somebody to do my graphics,
Mm.
and I've been working with them for over a year and a half, but I've hired several people to do my graphics, and I've just kind of been, and what you're seeing now at the very top is going back to my original, what I was doing at the very beginning when I started my Instagram.
Mm. And how does it feel?
Old, a little
Mm.
bit dated.
Yeah. Your ability to influence people isn't strong when people can't see you. It would be like a celebrity. I mean, there are people, for example, Carnivore Aurelius is an anonymous account. But this is somebody who's not sharing data there. I'd say that they're sharing like 70% their personal opinions about things, and then 30% like actual data. And I don't know the human design of, this person obviously runs an anonymous account, but what's coming to mind when I see your thing is like, if we look at the trap witch, the trap witch?
Yes.
I haven't been on her page in so long, but this is somebody that always, I would definitely say that this person has a 5 line, because she is not afraid to like post her beauty as well, and to lean into the beauty and the face of her brand. She puts a lot of quotes and she puts a lot of other things, but a lot of times she's just got some straight up beautiful shots of herself. And I remember even in the beginning, the Facetune was so heavy. And I loved that, at first I was triggered by it. I was like, girl, like, who are you? The Facetune is so heavy on this. But then she'd be on stories, no makeup, reading cards and stuff, which I thought was really cool. The elephant in the room with you though, is that I can't tell who you are. And beauty is, when we go into trajectory, which we'll do a couple lessons from now, we figure out if you're the type of person that is here to be observed, which is face on camera, or the observer, which is not on camera. The thing is that you can still tell a story. All of these faceless accounts, daily vlogs, but faceless accounts, these are people that are observers, and you can get such an idea about their life and what they're into as they're filming their bookshelf or filming their morning routine. So, and you can look that up on your human design chart under trajectory. Am I here to be an observer? Am I here to be observed? But your beauty, beauty is a path. Beauty is a path to enlightenment. Beauty is God. When people see beautiful sunsets, they feel like, oh, it's God. That's why people started making art. A pot that's painted doesn't work better than a pot that's not painted, but it's beautiful. And when something has beauty, it's bringing the God into the object. And so I think that that's what I would just, from the gut, intuitive knowing in the now is something that I have. So I don't know who you are but I just really want to reiterate that there is 2 ways to tell people how you are, either being observed or being an observer. And if you're not here to be face on camera, it's never going to feel comfortable to you, and it's not actually doing the things. But there's so many ways to show how beauty, showing your nails is a way of showing your beauty without it's that personal touch. And that personal touch is what makes something, because what you bring, astrology is very data driven. What you bring to astrology is what people are paying you for. But when the branding has become data driven and there's no you, people are just like, is this Pinterest? What is this? And you have such wonderful accolades, but it's yours. It's yours. So claim it. That's what we're going to go into. Thank you. All right, we'll do Catherine. You guys, I'm still loving answering the questions. So I know I'll be able to answer these 2. I'm just going to have to, my poor husband, when I tell him the video is going to be 2.5 hours long, he's going to be like, oh, but I'll be like, don't worry. At an hour and a half, you can leave. You can leave it's saturation point. You find out if you're an observer or an observed. We do that going forward in Fuckless, but that is trajectory. And the trajectory is one of the first things that I wanted people to know with creating content. And then the next thing we do after that is circuitry. So we make sure that you're not getting yourself into a tribal situation if you're a lone wolf. We'll also look at if you're here to collaborate or not, et cetera, et cetera. All right, Catherine, go ahead.
Okay, hi. This is such a gift to talk to you. I adore you and I love your content and I'm always commenting and yeah, so thank you so much for I'm a manifester 2/4. Mountains, it's my environment.
Love.
And my question is, well, you probably need a little context. I grew up very religious. Yeah, let me inform you real quick. I grew up.
I'm surprised you didn't unmute yourself in the call and initiate. That would have been the most on brand for the manifester.
Well, you don't allow participants to unmute.
Oh,
is what I found. So I grew up really, really, really loving my Christian faith. I was in Christian Catholic school my entire life. I went through a huge spiritual awakening. I'm very spiritual now. I fell away from the dogma, the doctrine. It wasn't resonating. And I was like, I didn't know that I could love God without religion. So I went through a whole awakening. It was amazing. Still is amazing. My spirituality is like my favorite part of my life. Like it's every breath I breathe. I am feeling called, like I see this vision of I'm creating a church. I'm creating a new kind of church.
Very
and I know it's very manifester. And I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I'm also like, fuck, I don't want to do this. This is a lot of work. And I don't know how to, like, I live in Los Angeles. I love in-person things. I do in-person events. Yeah, and that's like really where I thrive the most. I don't have any family out here. It's just like the community that I've built, and I really thrive in person. So my question is, what, like, with my human design type, how does like working online and working offline look? Like, I would love to have the church be like an online membership. It's going to be called the Church of Self.
Love.
I would love it to be like part online membership and also offline, because that's really what fuels me. But I know that there's so many people, even just like when SZ was talking, I don't know if she's still on the call, but I'm like, this would be something that like someone like you who has really like a really religious background but is very spiritual, like that is my ideal client. People who have been disheartened by religion and they want to like have a sacred community. So I know it can be so much bigger than just in person, and I'm curious like how to do both.
Yeah, of course. And what a good question. And to really like bring this to the manifester. Of course you have the vision of creating the church. If it was a generator, they're like, oh, you know what, I think I'm going to rent out a basement and, do a circle, just throw it together and do a circle one night a week, and the manifestor is like, I'm going high. Yeah, I'm going high. I'm making a whole entire church. And then it's like, fuck, this is going to be a lot of hard work. Yeah, you're not here to do it all by yourself. You're here to initiate. You're here to inform. You're here to invite, and you have the network. Everywhere you go, you create the network. And this network, a lot of times, is in person, an in-person network, being able to, like, I am not social whatsoever. Like as a 6'3", it's all about finding people that can keep up with me. And that's literally it. If you can't keep up with me, like, I'm lone wolf, front of the pack. That's how I do things. Would be very lonely for somebody with the 4-line or someone that's tribal. And my daughter is the only 4-line in the family, and her tagline is whole family. She always says whole family. I'll be like, Wiley, come on, let's me and you like go to the library. And she's like, whole family, whole family. She always wants everybody to come and do the thing. She wants to cook for everybody. And that's really like the 4-line way, is bringing people together. Your network is your net worth. So just in your network, there are people that want to help you make this happen. You will attract people that will make this happen, but you're not supposed to be building it brick by brick from the ground up. You're supposed to see the vision and bring the people together that'll create this culture and make this thing happen. What's your environment?
Mountains.
Mountains. Okay, cool. So really from being able, this is the charismatic cult leader. No, and the charismatic cult leader is something that we talk about a lot about in marketing. It's not the same. It's weaponized. It would be the cult leader, but somebody that sees the vision, influences people, and people naturally look to you like a leader. And charismatic cult leaders have a very different I am a charismatic cult leader personality. Excited. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. That I don't really care what anybody else thinks about it. This is what's up. And charismatic cult leaders don't need a lot of advertising. People just are naturally magnetized to you, drawn to you. Your influence is there. They're just like, yeah, sounds good. So mountains already has this disposition because you have the mountain of your experience as well, looking down on things, saying, this is what's up. So you're very much here to be in the director's chair, calling the shots. And if you know this from the very beginning, you won't think that unfolding the chairs for the meeting is going to get you where it is that you're trying to go. You have to get yourself up like Moses in the Bible, go up and down. And don't forget that Moses had 2 drafts of the 10 commandments as well, because the first one was like vegan diet, no fucking your neighbor's wife, all of the, and Moses is like, I leave for 10 minutes, everyone's fucking each other and worshiping idols down here. Like, nobody's going to be able to adhere to this, like draft 2, but had to go up on the mountain to get the clarity about the laws that would need to be implemented with the people. And so if you understand this about yourself from day one, it doesn't have to be drama. It's going to take you a while to get it right, of course, but people are always flocking around you to help you. And then you also have this experience of being the 2-line, and it's really about your personal practice, but where people can observe you. So the analogy is playing the violin facing the wall, but by the window. And people can walk by and hear the violin and saying, oh, that's genius. And they can look and see you practicing, saying, oh, that's genius. But you are totally focused on what it is that you are quietly creating. So
Yeah.
these 2 things working together for you, actually these 4 things: a manifester on the mountain as a hermit, but then is here to bring this to the community. Like, what you're doing is 10 out of 10 on brand. Where you're going to get stuck is being concerned with, look, there's nothing wrong with being a charismatic cult leader. I just talked about Raw. If you look at my reels recently, Raw got the human rave casualty. Human Design Raw was fucking rave casualty. He was a manifester, 100%. Probably had mountains because he got the revelation while living up in a tree. He hated being around other people. But you cannot explain your position to people. You can inform them, this is human design, this is where we're going, this is what we're going to be doing. Or like the guy from Mormonism, I see this, I met with this archangel, now I get visions in a hat, this is where we're going. The fucking I Ching came from a guy, the legend has it, came from a guy that saw a turtle come out of the pond, and in a moment he was enlightened, and in the engravings on the turtle's back, he saw all of the 64 hexagrams in the I Ching and was like, this is what we're doing. And so you see the vision, and it's not, with the manifestor, it's like, source, trust me, bro. I don't fucking care what you think about it. People are going to say you're crazy. People are going to say that you've started a cult. People are going to say all kinds of things. As the manifestor, what other people say about you is completely irrelevant to the mission. Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
To the mission. So it just doesn't matter. Make sure that you don't get stuck doing too much grunt work. When you need, ask your people, ask your network, run these ideas by things. People aren't reaching out to manifestors because everyone's like, you're so cool. So, but you can initiate, you can reach out to anyone in your network at any time. And it's like, oh, gotta go. She's texted me. Yes, I've been summoned. You have the ability to do this, and people want to help you make this happen. Don't hesitate to go up on the mountain, get that big vision, practice it alone, and then just fucking drop it on the people. You will bring the right people together. You can do it. You got it. No problem. But there's only one person on top of the mountain, and that person is you. So let me know. Let me know when you have it. I'm all about the charismatic cult leader for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I wasn't able to join earlier when we were talking about was it white elephants, talking about white elephants. Do I have a white elephant? I put my Instagram in the chat.
Do you have an elephant in the room? How long ago did you put it in the chat?
Okay,
Sarah Watsy is here.
There's Swati. Oh my God. Hi. We are friends.
Oh, really? Oh my God. I love the Sarah Watsy. Oh, is this where are you? Is this you right here?
Perhaps. And I'm pasting it again.
Okay, cool. Natalie, I'll get started with you and I'll look at your social. Okay, hang on a second. Natalie, did I have you off of mute? There you go. Let me look at. I love this.
Hey.
I love this elephant in the room. I love this elephant in the room thing. Oh, I know you. All right. So the elephant in the room is she's definitely a cult leader. The elephant in the room is she's definitely a cult leader. That's what she definitely has the cult. So just lean into it. Just lean into it. Be completely unafraid of how people, yeah, 100%. I was like, the light, the life, the perfect information, all of this stuff that we have on here. Yeah, girl, hell yeah. You could be like, we're gonna sit around a fire and drink pig's blood. I'd be like, all right. No problem. Like, let's do it. She's called. So yeah, just completely lean into it. It doesn't matter what anybody says about you. And honestly, like you know who I would recommend watching is some Osho, because people were talking shit about Osho for like literally so long. Osho was a projector. But we were talking shit about Osho from like the beginning of even old books that I have about like Kundalini yoga and stuff like that. They're talking shit about Osho. And Osho just didn't care. He like completely leaned into it. His weird like galactic outfits, his Rolls Royces, and none of it undermined him as a teacher whatsoever, but he just leaned into it. And that's what I would recommend looking into. All right, now they go ahead. My husband's going to be like still on the phone. He's going to be so relieved when I tell him that he doesn't have to watch the whole thing. And I'm literally going to have to clip this recording into like a Q&A session and the regular ones so that I don't scare the manifestors when they go to open the video and it's so long and they're like out. Bye.
Well, I'll be pretty quick. I'm a 3/5 projector and I'm writing a book, and I was just wondering if you had any recommendations on a 3/5 projector writing a book. I feel like I'm putting a lot of shit in it. It's a fantasy book, like a surrealism fantasy kind of book. So I feel like it's going to be one of those, but I'm like, I don't know. So yeah, any recommendation?
What's your environment?
Markets.
So what I would recommend is what does your writing routine look like right now?
When I can, I'm actually about to quit my job because I had a week off between the holidays and I literally wrote like 20,000 words and I was like, I need to fucking do this. And it's like, feels really big. And so I have outgrown this job. And so I think I'm going to quit, take some time off, and then just try to pump it out. Because when I'm writing, I don't want to stop until I like fall asleep on my laptop. And so I just want to give some time to it and finish it. It's been in my head for like 5 years.
I totally get that. You might not like this, but I'm going to give it to you straight. Books don't pay a lot. Never have. But books are Chanel. And one of the main reasons I'm starting a publishing company is just to teach people how to relaunch books so that you can make more money off the same book over and over again. Another thing I'm going to give to you straight is that it puts a lot of pressure on your creative project to succeed when it's the only thing that's bringing in money. The third thing I'm going to give to you is that when you're walking around in markets, like if you're like, I'm going to write a book, but I'm going to do it in the market and I'm going to put my headset in, just this might be, because this might be very repellent to you, but just try it one time. Not that it'll work, not that it'll be the thing, but if writing a book could happen while you're in a market, what would that look like? If when you were doing your grocery shopping for the week, you gave yourself, 3 hours to do it instead of, or, even just going to like Erewhon or whatever, just to be in the marketplace, or a flea market, or literally anywhere, an expo, anywhere where there's lots of different things, and you have your headset in, so it just looks like you're on the phone and you're just talking out whatever it is that you might be writing, because you meet the least resistance in this space. Now, that being said, for a lot of writers, talking and writing is not the same thing. But what I want you to explore, because I have a feeling that you might get very burnt out and discouraged if you are trying to support yourself. You need a lot of space. The book advances exist because people need financial space to be able to do the book. And also, I would
So that's
recommend.
that's kind of where I am. I have a good chunk of savings right now, and I'm creative director at a marketing agency right
Okay.
now, and it's very much so turned into a non-creative agency. B2B, other tech SaaS things that it's just like not my bread and butter anymore. I'm not creative. And so but I'm still giving that creative energy to that. And so I'm an artist as well. So it's going to be like a graphic novel situation. The story has kind of come actually from the years of painting these things that have been coming out of me. So it's kind of, I have really big goals into like it being a movie or a series, like really big long-term goals. Because it's very visually striking and very, I don't know. So it's like for the market thing, like I can't, that's what I didn't really resonate with the markets, because when I'm like zoned in on painting, I'm alone fully. I have done live painting and I like that, but it did feel like a weird pressure. But so for me, it's like the writing and the art go hand in hand. I've written since I was a kid, and I've been an artist. My mom is an artist, and I used to write screenplays like when I was 7, 8, 9.
Perfect.
So
thank you for sharing that with me, so that we wouldn't, because now I'm like literally scrap all of that, because now I see where the ding 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 is on it. And I'm also somebody like writing and talking to me is different. Like it's just totally different mind. And about a third of the, if not a quarter of the words in my book versus how when I'm talking. This is what I would encourage you to explore. If you were to take everything that you knew about creative marketing from your career, this is something that happens to a lot of spiritual people, is like, I'm an artist now, I'm not doing this anymore. But actually, everything about creative marketing could make this project a success. What would it look like if you were bringing all of your expertise from being in this industry for so long, and use that to just guarantee that your book was successful? And you have these savings that are already under your belt, that publishers don't do your marketing, they don't do your publicity, they don't run ads for you, they don't really do shit. But how you treat a book that you know is going to be really successful is different than how you treat a book that you hope is going to be really successful. And if you were, projector being able to work in their own flow, you get that whole book written, but you're saying, look, I have the fucking experience and I've seen what does and does not work. And I understand that it might be a little bit of trial and error, but I'm going to fucking make sure that this book pays me no matter what.
That's
kind
of where I'm at. Finally got to that point.
All right. So I think that you're I think that you could safely do exactly what you're planning on doing. And if you've given yourself a deadline, the finances are running out and you're like, oh, writer's block, go to the markets. Just go to the markets and see what happens. Be in neutral in the market and see what happens.
I'll put my Instagram in there in the chat as well, because I also am sitting on this like bank of art that I've never done prints of. I could do merch. If I did ever get to that point of needing to make cash, I know that's there too. I've just been in this kind of like business, almost creative industry for too long, and investing a lot of time into that.
The elephant in the room is you're all over the place. because you're all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. Oh my God. So I love these pants. But yeah, the elephant in the room is that you're all over the place. It doesn't seem, I see a picture that does look kind of worky here, but this seems like all fun, which I don't think is a bad thing, but for somebody that works as hard as you and is doing all of these things, letting people in. The thing about the projector is that you have to set yourself up to be invited. So looking at this, what I would invite you to is a party. I would invite you to like a cowboy party. And I would invite you to like a coffee shop art opening, but and I say coffee shop art opening and not art opening because I don't see any studio. I just see like, oh, I like art, not you actually doing it. If you want to be invited for a graphic novel, you need to be showing this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm up to all the time. Miley Cyrus says that she always has a microphone in her hand because she's like, people need symbols, and like, I'm not an influencer, I'm not a model, like I am a singer, like this is my microphone and I'm a singer here. That's really the key. So that's what the elephant
Yeah. Do you think a separate Instagram, because this has been just my personal one forever, like separate for the just art kind of book trajectory?
No,
or
no,
do it all the art?
I don't think you need to do that at all. I actually think that I don't think that you need to do something like that at all. Just start telling a new story. Just start telling a new story. But with something like that, with something process oriented, you're not going to want to be, nobody is going to care about well, I don't want to say nobody, but you will really be rooted on by these people here on your social media as you're going forward in your process. And I think that engagement and those views and stuff will really help to get the message out there. Magic is going to be starting his mostly from scratch, but the followers will see Magic as my husband, that he's starting his thing. So but going totally blank on it for a project that you're working on when nobody knows, you would feel a bit like shouting into the void, I believe. Especially if it's not showing because you really start to get traction on social media and get a lot of views and stuff where you're like, here's the problem I solved, here's the thing that I figured out. But when it's like a long process and a long tease of like, this is what I'm working on, but it'll be this one day, then the strangers will come and you'll be able to influence them. But when it's super process oriented, that's going to be stuff that's mainly personal. And I think that it could damage how you feel about yourself at this time. So it's going to be trial and error. You'll figure out what works for you, but go into it knowing that it's going to be a success. And writers, projectors, they need their rest. But if you are at a lack of ideas, giving yourself 2-3 hours to go roam around the marketplace might really be the game changer for you. All right, you guys, we had a stunning, energetic 3-hour masterclass. 3-hour masterclass. I had such a good time here with you. You guys all know where to go to buy what it is that you need to buy. I will see you next week for class. If you don't have a paper book, you might really, you can print out the PDF. It's not a problem. But if you are, it does make it really easy, and we'll be working out of this for the whole course. So love you guys so much. I had such a good time being here with you. I am living for Daryl's moment right now. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.